Something I really enjoyed as a student director working with an understudy was that they're always willing to jump in. We started calling them the recruits rather than understudies because we knew we could rely on them for anything, that they were willing to do anything, that they would always just be ready to go, which is a very valuable and helpful skill to have.
Gabriel and I have the same sort of sensibilities about the character and about acting. So when I watch him on stage, the choices that he makes are also the choices that I would make and vice versa. So it's very fortunate that we ended up being actor and understudy because Gabriel was my #1 resource for the character along with Carrington, our director. He was there to advise me the entire time. He was there to ask me questions, to provoke interesting thoughts about the character and the circumstances, and I would not have been able to do it without him.
I think the biggest thing for me working with him whenever he went on was just making sure that I had his back and that he knew that I had his back, because it's especially when you go on as Paul, it's such a big role, especially for this show and what we were putting on. And I also was fight captain for the show, so there was a lot of stage combat that Paul had to know, that he had to know, and that he hadn't really rehearsed with people before, with his scene partners. So I think making sure that he felt safe and that all of that was taken care of before doing runs, and just making sure that we all had his back and supported him throughout the runs that we did.
The biggest challenge was working for them to unlock their own version of the character, because it is really easy to get up and mimic everything that you've watched it hundreds of times, but how does Gabe portray Paul different than Bob, and what other secrets can we unlock about these characters that we wouldn't have if not for an understudy? So you're discovering more about these characters all the time through the different people that play them, and I think that was just really valuable information.
Throughout the process, I just genuinely had so much respect for Gabriel because of the amount of work that he was putting in, and just the fact that he never got rehearsal time with us. I remember the first time it was like, oh, you're going on today, and he had never had a 2-hour rehearsal where we went over blocking and we did things like that. You were just thrown into it.
Obviously, there was the aspect of memorization that was hard for all 3 characters. Again, the hardest thing for me was finding the difference and contrast that goes with all 3 characters, and how if I had to step in for one, it wouldn't look like the other, so the audience wouldn't be confused. Overall, the experience was amazing. I loved being an understudy. It was so fun getting to experience all these different types of characters, and of course being with my other fellow understudies. It was so amazing to work with them and get to know them better and stuff like that.